What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, back with another NFL video. In this video, my underrated NFL teams entering the 2021 NFL season. I made a video discussing why I believe the Patriots are the most underrated NFL team entering the 2021 season, but there are plenty of other NFL teams, as you guys brought to my attention, that are underrated, under the radar, that are not getting enough credit, that could be good this season or just beat expectations. So in this video, I'm giving you those teams, my 7 most underrated teams in the NFL. Before I give you those teams, make sure that you do spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more bottom line view lists just like this, and check out Patreon for exclusive fantasy videos, gambling videos, and extra NFL content. Kicking off my 7 most underrated NFL teams, because if you didn't hear me already, I'm gonna let you know once again, the Patriots are underrated. Why? Because Bill Belichick spent all the damn cash possible this offseason. Matthew Judon is on the roster. Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Nelson Aguilar, Trent Brown joined the team. Henry Anderson, Jalen Mills. We got Dante Hightower back from the COVID list. Kyle Van Noy on the squad. This team is one of the most complete, well-rounded rosters in football. Don't worry about the quarterback situation. That will sort itself out. With the rest of the roster being this good, with this great coaching staff, there is no doubt the Patriots will exceed their win total and most likely make the playoffs. My number 2 most underrated team in the NFL, that is the Washington football team. Yes, Washington made the playoffs with their lame name last season, but I believe their record will actually improve in 2021. They have a second season under Ron Rivera, Scott Turner, Jack Del Rio, and this coaching staff. I think they have arguably one of the most talented rosters outside of Tampa Bay in the NFL. They are loaded across the board. Wide receiver has gotten a lot better this offseason. Yes, they had Terry McLaurin, who, if you didn't know, is already elite in his own right, but Curtis Samuel and now Brown in the draft, that adds a lot of speed and playmaking ability around Terry McLaurin. Not to mention, Logan Thomas kind of had a breakout season, and in the backfield, so did Antonio Gibson. This offense could really take shape in 2021 with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yes, not the greatest quarterback in the world, but we've seen that Fitzpatrick can turn into Fitz magic at a moment's notice and really take over any given game with his playmaking capabilities. Just a veteran presence with a little bit of riskiness to his game is just what they needed at this quarterback position, and a much needed improvement over whatever was the case last season. This is also a pretty solid offensive line led by Brandon Scherf, the All-Pro, and a defense. When we're talking about defense, we're talking about arguably the best in football with the Washington football team. A absolutely young, loaded front 7 from Jonathan Allen to Daron Payne, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Matt Ioannidis back in the fold, a first-round pick, Davis at linebacker, Landon Collins at safety. You have William Jackson entering the fold. Kendall Fuller is fantastic. This is the most talented team in the NFC East, and I don't think enough people realize that. My number 3 most underrated NFL team is the New York G-Men. The Giants are underrated. Why? Because I'm a big Joe Judge guy. I think Judge did a fantastic job in his rookie season as a head coach. This coaching staff is pretty under the radar, and I feel they're going to have this team prepared on both sides of the football every given week. They were very competitive last year with lackluster talent. They fixed the talent issue on offense and even on defense this offseason. You look at the offense supporting now Daniel Jones, who could see a breakout season in 2021. Kenny Golladay, a legitimate number one receiver. A complimentary tight end in Kyle Rudolph. Sterling Shepard still there. Darius Slayton, who I really like, who can stretch the field, still there. John Ross, my man, the burner. He came in. Kadarius Toney in the first round. This team has a ton of talent at wide receiver and tight end to catch the football. And did I even mention the RB1 of Earth? Saquon Barkley is back in the backfield, who makes Daniel Jones a lot better and this offense a lot more balanced. Also expect the left tackle, Andrew Thomas, to have a breakout season. Defensively, front seven is still very under the radar, very underrated, led by Leonard Williams. Yes, they did lose Dalvin Tomlinson, but I wouldn't be worried because they have plenty of depth there. Dexter Lawrence, breakout year. Danny Shelton's a solid player who knows how to play in this defense. BJ Hill, they have improved edge rushers with Lorenzo Carter coming back. Blake Martinez is pretty good. The safeties, Xavier McKinney is back. Logan Ryan is the coordinator of this secondary. Jabril Peppers, Adoree Jackson, Logan Ryan's former Titan teammate, is the opposite side of James Bradbury. These corners are stacked. Great secondary. This is a team that will be prepared from this coaching staff, will be able to throw the football and run the football, and I believe the defense will be in the top 10. The Giants, as long as Daniel Jones can take strides forward and the offensive line isn't a disaster, should be pretty good this year. My number 4 underrated NFL team entering 2021 is the Denver Broncos. And I really feel like the Broncos aren't being talked about at all unless you're talking about Aaron Rodgers being traded to the Broncos because of the quarterback position. If this team had a quarterback who's considered around the top 20, they would without a shadow of a doubt be in the playoff conversation. Like, there's no way around it. This roster is loaded. I would argue it's maybe the most talented AFC roster in the NFL. Their defense is unreal. Like, they have 4 good cornerbacks. How many teams have that? They have one of the best safety duos in the NFL. They have a good linebacker duo. They have a fantastic edge duo. Von Miller is back. Very underrated interior defensive line led by Shelby Harris. The offensive line isn't great, but it's not bad either. The receiving core, man, the receiving core. Patrick is so underrated. You have Jerry Jeudy, who's a phenomenal route runner, and Courtland Sutton is back. Noah Fant could break out. They even have 2 backs that I like. So as long as Drew Lock or Teddy B just don't screw it up, Vic Fangio's team should be competitive this year, so don't sleep on Denver's talent. At number 5, the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, it's their time to have at least a bit of a rise in the NFC South. I think the window, the door, it's open for the Panthers to become the second best team in the NFC South. They may not compete with the Bucks, and that's totally cool, but they should be able to be second in this division. When you look at their roster, their front 7, young, talented. You've got Brian Burns. You've got Brown, Derek Brown, and Hassan Reddick coming in from free agency. They even improved their linebacker position with Denzel Perryman. The cornerback position is much, much better with J.C. Horn, A.J. Bouye. Jeremy Chin is an absolute beast at safety. So this defense, very, very slept on, and the offense has dynamic weaponry. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. They even brought in Dan Arnold, who I don't mind at tight end. I think that's an improvement. Christian McCaffrey, of course, and Terrace Marshall too in the draft. So they have plenty of weapons for Sam Darnold, who comes to town with a chip on his shoulder. This is also a very underrated coaching staff. I think the Panthers could be sitting at about 8 to 10 wins, and I would not be surprised at all. At number 6, the Tennessee Titans are very underrated when it comes to the contender situation in the AFC. Everybody talks about the Chiefs. Of course they should. People are talking about the Bills, as they should. And the Browns, very talented. But the Titans are in that mix as well. The Titans have a ton of talent on both sides of the football. Ryan Tannehill is very quietly a top 10 quarterback in this league. Their offensive line is powerful, overwhelming, and can win them games. Julio and AJ Brown, I don't think there's a better receiver duo in the league. And yes, they don't have a great tight end, but Reynolds isn't bad as a complimentary option. I don't love that they lost Arthur Smith, but that talent is just insurmountable. They'll still have a good offense. The defense, their front seven is much improved, and this is where their defense should improve the most. They also got my number one corner in the draft in Caleb Farley. They have a good back end with some underrated players like Janoris Jenkins. Of course, they've got Kevin Byard, who everybody loves. Jayon Brown's underrated. Bud Dupree came to town. Danico Autry was a nice signing. They have talent all over the defense. At least it should be better this season than it was a year ago. Don't sleep on the Titans. They have proven to be absolutely a good January football team, and they could be again this year. And my final underrated team entering 2021 is the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know why, but some people do not recognize how talented the Vikings are entering this season. If the Vikings were in the NFC Championship game in January, I would not be that shocked because they have that much talent on both sides of the football. We're talking about Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, with Dalvin Cook in the backfield, Kirk Cousins, one of the most consistent passers in football, and a defense led by Danielle Hunter, who is back. They're getting Michael Pierce, an absolute big run stuffer, to go along with Dalvin Tomlinson and Sheldon Richardson in the middle of their defensive line. They have Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks at linebacker, Harrison Smith at safety. They added Patrick Peterson. They have a lot of depth at cornerback, including Bashaud Breeland, who I'm a big fan of. I feel this Vikings defense is going to be back into the top half, if not the top 10 this year. And then the offense, we know what it can do, running the ball and passing the football. Expect an Irv Smith breakout. I feel like the Vikings are going to be good this year, definitely in the playoffs. I just don't understand why people don't think they're good. That's why they're underrated. Those are my underrated NFL teams heading into 2021. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. It's Mitch. Thanks for watching. Peace.